For 23 years, I was privileged to have the most stunning honor to be Hersh's mama. I'll take it and say thank you. I just wish it had been for longer.
Heartbreak tonight in Israel as thousands show up for the funeral of Hersh Goldberg Polin, one of 6 hostages whose bodies were found in Gaza over the weekend. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. The killing and discovery of those hostages sparking outcry in Israel today. 6 hostages found dead in a tunnel, with the IDF saying they had been murdered before troops were able to rescue them. Hersh Goldberg Polin was last seen in a hostage video released by Hamas in April, and he was reportedly one of 3 hostages killed that was scheduled to be released in the first phase of a possible ceasefire proposal. Here's what his father said today.
Hersh, we failed you. We all failed you. You would not have failed you. You would have pushed harder for justice. Maybe, just maybe, your death is the stone, the fuel that will bring home the remaining 101 hostages.
Across Israel, protests erupting in the last 24 hours as hundreds of thousands of people hit the streets, accusing their government of abandoning the hostages and failing to secure a ceasefire deal. With Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the center of the scrutiny, today in a rare presser, he asked for forgiveness from the families of those lost and promised retaliation against Hamas. Meanwhile, in the United States, President Biden telling reporters that he believes Netanyahu is not doing enough to secure a hostage deal for the over 100 captives still in Gaza. And while all this is happening, the UK announced it will suspend some arms sales to Israel. And NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez has the very latest.
Tonight, protesters bringing their fury to the gates of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Jerusalem residence. Public anger in Israel spiraling after the killing of these 6 young hostages and what demonstrators see as the government's failure to bring them home alive. The IDF says they survived more than 300 days in captivity, only to be murdered by their Hamas guards in a tunnel beneath Rafah late last week. Israeli troops reached the tunnel Saturday, but it was too late. Protesters say they could have been saved if Netanyahu agreed to a ceasefire deal. And today, labor unions ordered their 800,000 workers to strike, demanding he change course. President Biden adding to the pressure.
Mr. President, do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
Tonight, Netanyahu telling the families, I ask your forgiveness that we were not able to bring them back alive. But also giving no sign of backing down, repeating his demands that Israeli troops stay in control of the Egypt-Gaza border. He says it's necessary to stop Hamas smuggling in weapons, but it's been a key stumbling block in negotiations. And even Israel's defense minister says it's worth conceding to save the hostages.
My sweet boy.
Hours earlier, American hostage Hersh Goldberg Polin was buried in Jerusalem.
For 23 years, I was privileged to have the most stunning honor to be Hersh's mama. I'll take it and say thank you. I just wish it had been for longer.
His parents still wearing the pieces of tape, counting the days since October 7th.
Maybe, just maybe, your death is the stone, the fuel that will bring home the remaining 101 hostages.
A nation's anger and a mother's grief.
And Hersh, there's one last thing I need you to do for us. Now I need you to help us stay strong. And I need you to help us survive.
And Gadi, for the first time tonight, Hamas appears to be acknowledging it was responsible for the killing of those hostages, saying its forces have been instructed to shoot their prisoners if Israeli troops attempt to rescue. Gadi.
Raf Sanchez, thank you. Meanwhile, 2 sources telling NBC News that President Biden may soon offer a take-it-or-leave-it ceasefire deal to Israel and Hamas as early as this week. NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba has more. Monica?
Well, Gotti, the U.S. is working around the clock to try and secure a deal, but there are still key issues outstanding for both Israel and Hamas. The president and vice president met with top national security officials in the Situation Room today to discuss next steps, including the idea that the U.S. could offer a take-it-or-leave-it type deal to the parties in the hopes of securing a final agreement. And that's according to two sources briefed on the discussions. And the risk there would be that if that proposal was put forward and both sides rejected it, it could mean the end of American-led negotiations. So that's one challenge. But National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan did suggest it as an option and one potential path during a virtual call with U.S. hostage families on Sunday. And senior Biden administration officials have been in regular contact with their counterparts in Egypt and Qatar to try and advance the talks, especially after those 6 hostages, including an American, Hersh Goldberg Poland, were murdered by Hamas with their bodies discovered over the weekend. Now, it's still unclear what impact their deaths will have on the next possible framework for a deal, but all of this is adding to the urgency behind the scenes to try and get something done, possibly as soon as this week. Gotti?
Monica, thank you. Meanwhile, for the first time since Vice President Kamala Harris announced her campaign for president, we saw President Joe Biden appear alongside her on the campaign trail, and that campaign stop happened in Pittsburgh, and NBC's Gabe Gutierrez was there. Hey there, Gabe.
Hey there, Gotti. It was a busy day for the vice president. She started out at the White House in the Situation Room with President Biden discussing developments in the Middle East with their national security team. And then the Harris campaign embarked on a battleground blitz. Governor Tim Walz heading to Wisconsin, Vice President Harris heading to Michigan, trying to court the union vote, such a critical constituency in this blue wall of states, these critical battlegrounds. And then late today, she was joined here in Pittsburgh by President Biden, a rare joint campaign event, and it really was a significant moment. For the first time in an event like this, President Biden spoke first and introduced the vice president, a symbolic passing of the torch in front of this union crowd. Let's take a listen to some of what she told the crowd in Detroit just a short time earlier.
So intends to pull us back, including back to a time before workers had the freedom to organize. He appointed union busters to the National Labor Relations Board, and he supported so-called right-to-work laws. We fight for a future where every worker has the freedom to organize.
Now, tomorrow, Gotti, the Harris campaign is organizing a bus tour in Florida that will begin in Donald Trump's backyard of Palm Beach, Florida. And the campaign says it will be focused on reproductive rights and will involve many of their surrogates. This all comes as the campaign really tries to hit that issue hard over the following weeks, that issue of reproductive rights. Now, as for former President Trump, he did not have any public events today, and we asked the campaign about that. A spokesperson told me that President Trump, as always, is working. He does have a town hall scheduled for this week on Wednesday in Pennsylvania. Gotti?
And tensions are ramping up after the U.S. government seized a passenger plane belonging to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The U.S. Justice Department says the plane was initially purchased illegally and smuggled out of the United States, which is a big violation of sanctions. The White House is apparently trying to put pressure on Maduro ever since he declared himself the winner of the disputed presidential election in Venezuela just last month. And NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley joins us now. Ryan, first question, logistically, how do you seize a plane, and what are the ramifications here?
Yeah, so this plane was seized in the Dominican Republic and then flown back to the U.S. So, some cooperation was involved there, and more of sort of a friendlier country than otherwise. It's, they were able to seize that and bring it back to the United States. But this plane was purchased, what the U.S. alleges, is through a shell company in late 2020 and 22 and early 2023. It was about a $13 million plane, and that was not allowed to be sold to him. But apparently they used some sort of shell company that was based in the Caribbean to purchase it. So that's eventually how it got to Maduro. So now the U.S., it's back in U.S. hands.
And Maduro is not one to mince words usually. So have we heard him respond to this?
Not that I've seen thus far, but I do think this will definitely be tension. What we see from the government itself is that from the Venezuelan government is that they said that this was an act of piracy, that this was seized illegally. But it was sold. It was not something under U.S. law. It's not something that is allowed to have been sold to this regime. So that's why the U.S. and the Justice Department was involved in taking it back here in the Dominican Republic.
And what's the latest with the election chaos that's going on in Venezuela right now?
Yeah, this is a lot of outside experts have obviously said that this was not a legitimate election, and that this is this claim that he won the election is not true. So there's been a lot of dispute internationally about this, and this is a sign, I think, from the Biden administration that they are taking this seriously. Now, obviously, seizing a plane that is used by the authority and the head of another state or another country is a major move, but because of it violates this underlying law that was signed several years ago, that's what the Justice Department is saying gave them the authority to do that and take this action, a pretty significant action that really could result in some broader consequences.
Ryan Riley, thank you. Celebrating the last bit of summer today, those heading back home tonight might be looking at large crowds, heavy traffic, possible delays. TSA is still expecting to break records this long weekend with around 3 million people screened on Saturday, but they expect that number to reach 17 million people by the end of the day on Wednesday. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar, who has more on this busy holiday weekend. So Priya, let's start with where you are. You are in Atlanta, the world's busiest airport. What's it like on the ground there right now?
Hey, Gotti. Yeah, you mentioned that 17 million number. That's actually up almost 8% from last year. And because I am in the world's busiest airport, that certainly translates to a little bit of a longer line situation on those holidays. But Atlanta also likes to pride itself on being the world's most efficient airport. So people were getting through those TSA checkpoints within around 20 minutes. And if you had pre-check, it was actually going even a little bit faster. That's not the case, however, for those flying in and out of Newark Liberty International, where they were actually, the FAA issued a ground delay. And so all the flights there have been delayed anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. We also saw the same ground delay happen in Orlando. So if you are flying in and out of either of those two airports, you might want to check on your app to make sure that your flight isn't being impacted. But it's not just people flying, Gotti. Also, millions of Americans hit the road today to travel home. The worst time to travel today was between 11 and 8 p.m. So if you procrastinated a little bit, you can hit the road after Gotti's show and you won't experience that travel, or you can leave on Tuesday, actually, after 1 p.m. is what the travel experts say is the best time to avoid that gridlock, Gotti.
If you can extend your vacation, you should extend your vacation. And Priya, those storms that we've been seeing predicted in the Northeast, what effect are they having right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mentioned the ground delay that was happening in Orlando. That was a result of thunderstorms. The other two airports we were keeping a close eye on were both in Dallas and Houston, because we were expecting some severe weather potentially there. But by the way, I wanted to tell you that I was talking to travelers here in Atlanta's airport today, and most people had a positive attitude about their journeys. They knew that they were going to probably run into, lots of travelers today. So let's take a listen to what they had to say to me today.
Be ready, be prepared for something to go wrong. Definitely try to get TSA pre-check if you can, because it's going to save you a lot of time.
Atlanta traffic is already crazy enough, so I'm sure it's going to be, everybody's ready to get back, but we're prepared.
So as you can see there, those travelers were prepared for the long lines, and they weren't, too worried about the surge in the travelers, Gotti.
Smiles at the airport, not something you see on a holiday weekend like today. Priya Sridhar, thank you so much. And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, trouble at one of America's most famous landmarks, from serious water issues to more than a dozen deaths this year. The frustrations and growing concerns at the Grand Canyon. Plus, weight loss drugs are doing a lot more than just helping some people lose pounds. How the lifestyle changes they bring on could impact our economy. And later this hour, defying the odds, we're going to meet some of the Paralympians vying for gold and others who have already made history.
Left the bow and gave it a bow and said, done. And then as soon as I got back, I cried like crazy.
Hi, welcome back. Here are some of the headlines we're watching tonight. 4 people were shot dead on a Chicago commuter train today, and police say the alleged gunman initially escaped, but officers used some surveillance video to find him on another train where he was then arrested. Now, police are calling that shooting an isolated incident and are not saying anything about a possible motive so far. And a man has been arrested in the shooting death of a title-winning gymnast. Police say 21-year-old Carl Welsh was killed in an apartment near campus at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater on Friday. Yesterday, officers announced the arrest of a 23-year-old man who they say knew Welsh. Her school says she was a business management major who won a national title on the vault for gymnastics last year. And 2 people are dead and 3 others are hurt after a man drove his car into a restaurant patio in Minneapolis yesterday. Police say surveillance video shows the man entering the restaurant parking lot, attempting to park, then plowing through the outdoor patio. He was arrested for criminal vehicular homicide, and right now there is no motive. And yesterday, sports fans across the country were in disbelief when they could not tune in to the 4th round of the U.S. Open and the first weekend of college football. Disney Entertainment channels, which include ESPN and ABC, went dark on DirecTV, and it's because both sides can't seem to agree on some new terms. It is the 2nd year in a row when Disney-owned channels have gone dark in a dispute with a major carrier. And defending champion Coco Gauff lost in the U.S. Open's 4th round yesterday to Emma Navarro. It comes after the men's defending champion Novak Djokovic also had a surprising loss in the 3rd round, which means the drought of anyone winning consecutive titles in New York will continue. And on this Labor Day, more than 10,000 hotel workers across the United States are on strike, and this is the 2nd day that union workers with Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt hotels took to picket lines to demand better pay and staffing. Now, we're seeing walkouts at dozens of locations from coast to coast and even in Hawaii.
When we look at how much people are making compared to 2020, hotel workers are poorer than they were then.
Sometimes I can't pay my bills. I have to skip one bill. Even my phone, I can't pay my phone because the money is not enough.
And that is NBC News' Antonia Hilton, who has been talking to picketers all day in Connecticut. She joins us now with more.
Gotti, these striking hotel workers have shared stories that are all too familiar to too many Americans right now. Over the last few years, they say their wages have barely increased, but their rent has doubled in some cases, and they're struggling to pay their basic bills. So they're using this holiday weekend to apply pressure on the major hotels and trying to make change. Take a look.
Better pay, health care, and workloads.
Contract. When do we want it? Now.
That's what more than 10,000 housekeepers, cooks, and staffers say they're spending their Labor Day on picket lines demanding. In Greenwich, Connecticut, Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, San Jose, and even Hawaii. This as the workers' union approves strikes in additional cities later this week.
It's hard to build savings, living oftentimes paycheck to paycheck.
You've given this company 25 years.
Yes.
Are you surprised that this is where you are 25 years later on a picket line?
Yeah, that's why first time we do that, because how they treat the people is not make sense.
The strikes center around Hyatt, Marriott, and Hilton hotel chains. Tonight, Marriott has not responded for requests for comment, while the Hyatt and Hilton both say they are willing to continue negotiations.
We're all in this together.
Today, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont supporting the workers.
They took some real hits during COVID, just like the hotels did. They flattened their wages. Now give them a chance to catch up.
A mí me duele mucho, me da mucho sentimiento.
Sonia, a Hyatt housekeeper, tells me it hurts me a lot. It makes me emotional. With staffers walking off the job, many hotels are modifying services and amenities. But some guests say they understand.
Sure, they really got to the point of being fed up. People like to work and have fair wages.
And Gotti, to give you just a snapshot of one of these workers' lives, one of the men here working at this Hyatt in Greenwich, Connecticut, told me that he's been here for about 25 years. And in recent years, his hourly wage has only gone up by about 30 cents an hour. Meanwhile, his rent went up by almost $1,000. He has kids in college, and he described the situation as unsustainable. Another woman, when she was talking to me, was moved to tears. She's a housekeeper here and has been for a long time. And people are making decisions at the end of the month. Am I going to be able to pay my phone bill? What kind of food am I going to be be able to get for my family at the grocery store. Some of the travel and hotel experts that we spoke to say that it's this kind of holiday strike that puts real pressure on the hotel chains. They know that more travel is coming in November and December as we get closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they're going to want to avoid some conflict, and they're likely going to come back to the table very soon. Gotti.
Antonia, thank you. Now, it's been a difficult summer at the Grand Canyon. Park officials say that hotels might reopen as early as this weekend after they were forced to close last Thursday. And the issue there, a bunch of breaks in a water pipeline. That disruption coming during a very busy time for tourism. And it is far from the only concerning issue happening out there along the rim. NBC's Dana Griffin explains.
Tonight, there's growing alarm in Grand Canyon National Park following a series of tragic deaths amid extreme weather. Rescuers finding a body just last week of a 60-year-old man who had been backpacking alone, marking the 14th death this year. Days earlier, rescue teams airlifted more than 100 stranded people to safety after severe flash flooding sent a rush of mud and debris through Havasu Canyon. Shanoa Nickerson was swept away while hiking with her husband. According to the Park Service, after days of searching, her body was recovered 20 miles downstream.
She just had the biggest heart, and she would want, just to spread love.
It comes as utility crews scramble to restore water service after 4 major breaks to the park's aging water pipeline. That forced hotels along the canyon's popular South Rim to abruptly cancel hundreds of bookings over the holiday weekend.
Everyone was scrambling.
Yes. Sharon Ellison and Fred Jerrigan planned to celebrate following a backpacking trip, and like many others, found their hotel closed.
We didn't have cell service or a satellite phone, so we didn't know about it until we had gotten back. I can't imagine that everybody was lucky enough to find accommodation as we were.
Travel chaos as park officials urge visitors to remain vigilant amid extreme conditions.
And Dana Griffin joins me now. Dana, what's the latest on the pipeline repairs? Is this timeline realistic?
So, yeah, it's likely that they will reopen this weekend because they've already done a lot of testing. They've been able to repressurize those lines, but it's going to take several days because they have to do several days of testing just to make sure that they can build enough of the reservoir in those particular tanks. And we actually, there was an actual release from the park. They said that we are optimistic, barring any further complications, that we will be able to resume regular water service and full service overnight lodging by next weekend. So obviously very hopeful for a lot of people who may want to take a rain check possibly next weekend. But it's tough. This is a 12.5-mile pipeline that was disrupted, and it impacts both the North and the South Rim. So obviously very frustrating. There was one couple, as we saw in that package, that was trying to celebrate after, their long hike, and they didn't know because they didn't have phone service. So it was like they get there and it's like, sorry, we're closed.
Right.
Yeah.
So cell phone service out there is so notoriously spotty.
Yeah.
You also mentioned those 14 deaths, and Grand Canyon is obviously a very dangerous place, but 14 deaths, is that a lot for this time of year?
It really is. The annual average deaths, 15. So we've already had 14, and right now we're still in the middle of monsoon season, which runs from July to September. So it is concerning because you've got these extreme weather conditions, not only the increase in the rainfall, which is causing the flash flooding, or that did a week ago where you had like 100 people airlifted out of the area, but you've also got the heat. And just last week, there was a 60-year-old man who was backpacking alone. He died, unfortunately. So park officials are reminding people to be vigilant as you're visiting this park. As you mentioned, it is dangerous. So be prepared and know that things can happen out there.
Dana, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And coming up, a car crashes into the living room of an Arizona home. Inside those terrifying moments and what the homeowner is saying about that shocking scene. But first, this isn't something we've seen on the campaign trail before. Former President Donald Trump apparently selling a new collection of digital trading cards.
By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoins.
He also says he's actually going to cut up one of his suits to sell to anybody who buys enough trading cards. Take a listen.
Each physical trading card has an authentic piece of my suit that I wore for the presidential debate. And people are calling it the knockout suit. I don't know about that, but that's what they're calling it. So we'll cut up the knockout suit, and you're going to get a piece of it. And we'll be randomly autographing 5 of them, a true collector's item. This is something to give your family, your kids, your grandchildren.
So a piece of that knockout suit runs about $1,500, and I know these days it's hard to know what is AI-generated misinformation and what is real, but we checked, and this is real. It's just uncharted territory. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, and here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following right now. A small twin-engine plane crashed into a row of townhouses in Oregon, killing 3 people. Now, this happened over the weekend and quickly started a fire that spread to 4 of those townhomes. The 2 people on board the plane, as well as a person in one of those townhouses, died. The FAA and the NTSB are investigating. And an incredible piece of video to show you out of Phoenix, a car crashing into a couple's living room just as they were getting ready to sit down for dinner, barely missing them and their dogs. Police say the driver was arrested and is thought to be impaired. That couple is now raising funds to try to fix their home. And a San Diego Unified Superintendent, Lamont Jackson, was fired after an investigation revealed he had engaged in, quote, unwelcome sex-based behavior with 2 female employees. Jackson, who had led California's second-largest school district since 2021, denies the allegations. He's worked for the district for over 30 years. And a San Francisco 49ers rookie is out of the hospital after being shot this weekend. Police are calling it an attempted robbery gone wrong. A 23-year-old Ricky Pearsall was signing autographs for fans earlier in the day. Hours later, a San Francisco police officer rushed to his side and may have saved his life. NBC's Morgan Chesky has the latest.
Tonight, San Francisco 49er Ricky Pearsall recovering after being shot in the chest over the weekend. The 23-year-old seen here Saturday afternoon, walking with the help of first responders, moments after being shot during an attempted robbery.
He was walking alone when a suspect approached him and attempted to commit an armed robbery using a gun.
Officials say the 17-year-old didn't target Pearsall for his NFL fame, but his Rolex watch. And during a struggle in the city's famed Union Square, both were wounded when multiple shots were fired.
We have 2 medics on scene at Green Grant.
Responding officer Jolie Harrell telling the San Francisco Chronicle she applied pressure to Pearsall's wounds, telling him, be strong, like you're on the field. Pearsall's mother sharing on social media, the bullet exited out of his back and missed vital organs. My son was spared today by the grace of God. After a highlight reel college career in Florida.
Oh, what a one-handed grab by Pearsall.
In April, the Niners drafted Pearsall in the first round, with the wide receiver's big NFL debut set for next week. On Sunday, the team announced he had been released from the hospital and continues to recover.
This was a terrible and rare incident in Union Square.
The shooting putting public safety in San Francisco back in the spotlight.
This kind of violence is simply unacceptable in our city.
As police boost area patrols over the Labor Day holiday, the teen suspect remains in custody.
And such a remarkable video of him right afterwards. Morgan joins us now in the studio. Morgan, what else do we know about the 17-year-old suspect?
Yeah, Gandhi, the 17-year-old suspect currently in police custody. He's not from San Francisco, but from a neighboring community. We do know that he was taken into custody by police shortly thereafter. The player was able to give a very good description to that officer who was saving his life, and so they were able to track him down within just a few minutes. What we're hoping to find out within the next 36 hours or so is if he will be charged as a minor, being 17, or in fact as an adult. The DA says that that decision should be coming very quickly.
And Ricky has such a bright future in football. You know, I hate to even ask, but he's upright, he's walking, he's clutching his chest. And do we know how extensive his injuries are? Is he out for the season? What do we know about?
Right. That video alone of him walking on his own power after being shot, incredible to see. He's already out of the hospital. We do know that he's been placed on a list reserved for non-football related injuries. This will happen a lot if you have a college athlete who was trying to deal with a long-standing injury. NFL teams will draft them, then place them here because it doesn't count against their active roster. But by placing him on this list, Scotty, what it essentially means is he's definitely not playing for at least the next 4 weeks. Of course, he's going to want to focus on the recovery here. But being a first-round draft pick and such a strong addition to the 49er roster, at the end of that 4-week time, I'm sure they will have a physician look at his injury, a gauge on where his status is, and they'll go from there. But 49ers Nation, so many NFL fans pulling for him. As you can see from those highlights, he's a heck of a player, hoping he makes a full recovery.
Yeah, seems so unstoppable. Morgan, thank you.
Thanks, Scotty.
And more Americans are taking weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, and by 2030, J.P. Morgan predicts about 30 million Americans could be taking what are called GLP-1 drugs. And senior business correspondent Christine Romans takes a look at what kind of impact that could bring down the road.
No question, GLP-1 weight loss drugs are popular, and new research is looking into how a nation eating less food and healthier food on GLP-1s could change the U.S. economy.
There are going to be these lifestyle changes that might really benefit us as a society as people are able to be more active. We might be able to be in the workforce longer. Because we just have more energy.
Leo Feller's analytics firm Numerator has been looking into the economic benefits of GLP-1 usage and says the drug could help reverse a decades-long decline in labor force participation. With a recent Goldman Sachs analysis predicting that if 60 million Americans go on GLP-1 drugs in the next 4 years, it could add an extra 1% to the nation's GDP, about $250 billion. Plus, they say, lowered rates of obesity and heart disease could lower the financial burdens they place on family members and the healthcare system. And that could save households as well as insurers and hospitals a lot of money down the road. And many people using the drug for weight loss are also changing their shopping habits. Numerator has been tracking the grocery spending of households on GLP-1s and found some significant shifts in what people are eating.
We see households pulling back on things like breakfast items. We see them cutting back on candies, on snacks, but we do also see them adding things into their basket, such as salads, fish, yogurt, lean proteins in general.
He says that families using the drug for weight loss spent between 6 and 9% less on groceries on average. And that's already making food manufacturers and grocery chains rethink their offerings. Like Nestle, which recently launched a new line of frozen meals tailored for people on GLP-1s with higher protein, good fiber, and smaller portions.
If consumers want something healthier, how do we actually accommodate that change in demand?
Even retail and grocery giant Walmart has said it's found GLP-1 users are buying slightly less at their stores. In the world of grocery stores, where profit margins are razor thin, even a small change in consumer trends could mean big changes for companies. At the same time, while GLP-1 usage might slightly decrease food consumption, Feller says that it could have benefits for other sectors of the economy.
We're going to also have a boost to clothing retailers as people are changing their wardrobe because they've managed to lose some weight. You might be able to go to workout classes a little bit more easily. You might be able to walk and go on hikes. This is a big impact on the U.S., similar to other big drug innovations that we've had that allow people to live longer and healthier lives.
Christine Romans, NBC News.
And still ahead tonight, Oasis is back, and so are ticket buying headaches for Wonderwallers. Long waits and unexpectedly high prices are fueling frustrations. A look at how fans are looking back in anger ahead of one of the most anticipated reunions ever. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. It was a big day at the polls for Germany's far right. Yesterday, the AfD, or the Alternative for Germany, won their first state election since the Nazis held power. Now, their leader celebrated that vote, saying it's proof that the German people want change, while German Chancellor Olaf Scholz practically pleaded with the country's mainstream parties not to form a coalition with the far right. And the Pope is going to Asia. That trip, which he left for earlier today, will include 11 countries and more than 40 hours on a plane. Church observers say the trip is seen as a chance for the Pope to extend his outreach to places with small or oppressed Catholic communities. And Elon Musk is not backing down with his beef with Brazilian authorities. His satellite internet service, Starlink, is refusing to comply with a court order to block his social network X in Brazil and says it won't do so until officials release Starlink's assets, which were frozen last week in an attempt to collect millions of dollars in fines against X for ignoring court orders to suspend certain accounts. And a beluga whale suspected of being a Russian spy has died. That whale turned up in Norway 5 years ago, strapped in a harness that read, quote, Equipment St. Petersburg, which quickly led a lot of people to speculate that he was a Russian intelligence asset. But if that was the case, he was spotted by a whole lot of people because by most accounts, he spent most of his time craving attention wherever he could find it. And fans around the world were pretty excited to hear news that legendary rock band Oasis is reuniting. And I don't believe that anyone feels the way a bunch of fans do when they tried to get their tickets and then they found themselves looking back in anger. NBC's Chloe Malas has the latest.
A new ticket debacle is brewing.
I went to check out and I got kicked out again.
Just days after the surprise announcement that brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher ended their longtime feud, announcing an Oasis reunion tour and sending fans into a frenzy.
You're gonna be the one that saves me.
Concert ticket sales hit a sour note, leaving some fans looking for their own Oasis.
I've been in the line now for an hour and a half, and there's still 14,000 people ahead of me.
Many claiming extensive waits, system glitches, and sky-high surge pricing for the concert dates in the UK and Ireland next year. British TV host Dan Walker posting on X, there has got to be a fairer, simpler, more efficient way of selling tickets. Ticketmaster UK, which operates abroad, says they don't set ticket prices. Promoters and artists do. And the band, in response to the outrage, posting on X, Oasis Live 25 tickets can only be resold at face value via Ticketmaster UK and Twickets. And tickets appearing on other secondary ticketing sites are either counterfeit or will be canceled by the promoters. But for millions of fans, the frustration seemed familiar. Ticketmaster and his parent company, Live Nation Entertainment, have faced intense criticism in recent years.
Are you ready for it?
With many slamming the site when Taylor Swift's wildly popular Eras Tour went on sale in 2022.
This is the biggest disaster I've ever seen on Ticketmaster.
I'm not getting tickets.
Even Swift herself weighing in at the time, saying in part, "It really pisses me off." That public fiasco prompting a high-profile congressional hearing.
You have clear dominance, monopolistic control. This whole concert ticket system is a mess.
And a Live Nation apology.
We need to do better.
The Justice Department and dozens of states filed suit earlier this year, alleging Live Nation had created a monopoly, causing inflated ticket prices. And while some Oasis fans had luck on their side this time around,
I literally screamed. I was so excited.
Others are still hoping for a chance to see the Gallagher brothers back in action.
I don't really want to pay resale, but I will if I need to.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
Chloe, thank you. And as summer travel comes to a close, not everyone has been happy with the boom of tourists in their cities. In fact, several European cities have already taken steps to limit tourism. And now one American city is looking to join them. That is Juneau, Alaska. NBC News correspondent Ellison Barber takes us through the frustration in the state's capital city.
It's the last days of a summer of record-breaking travel that's overwhelmed vacation hotspots around the world. Barcelona visitors hoping to enjoy an outdoor snack, sprayed with water guns by protesters chanting, "Tourists, go home." And in Sintra, Portugal, signs warning of a traffic jam in paradise.
Sintra era o Éden na Terra, mas agora transformou-se no inferno.
Tourism turning into over-tourism, and cities are now cracking down. Venice this summer charging a fee for day trippers. Barcelona banning tourist rental apartments. Amsterdam capping the number of cruise ships and planning to ultimately close its cruise terminal entirely. And now the fight coming to an unlikely place, Juneau, Alaska. Population around 30,000. Every summer, passengers go on cruises to catch a glimpse of Alaska's stunning glaciers and wildlife. Then each day, Thousands flood into Juneau, pouring into shops, going on excursions, setting up a battle between locals who love their small town way of life and the tourists who desperately want a taste of it.
The cruise industry brings massive numbers of people on a concentrated schedule and spews them into a city like a tidal wave and then sucks them all out and leaves.
Carla Hartz lived in Juneau since she was a little kid and says the influx of people is inescapable. Cruise ships stopped in Juneau more than 700 times in 2023, with nearly 1.7 million passengers, up 74% from a decade ago.
All of the areas that the locals used to go to sport fish, to kayak, is all blanketed by whale watching boats.
Hoping for a day of rest, she started an initiative called Ship-Free Saturdays, pushing to ban large ships that can hold 250 passengers from docking in Juneau once a week and on the 4th of July. People will vote on it October 1st.
This is bad for our family. It's bad for our community.
McHugh Pierre is the chair of Protect Juneau's Future, a group campaigning against the initiative, worried the local economy will take a big hit. After all, the cruise industry was responsible for more than $300 million in spending in Juneau last year and nearly 4,000 jobs.
We expect there would be about 400 direct tourism-related jobs that would go away. And, businesses would shut down on Saturday. There's no reason to be open for locals. There's not enough people.
The city's already taking steps to limit cruise ships. Starting in 2026, it's capping cruise passengers at 16,000 a day and 12,000 on Saturdays. But for those who feel the soul of the city is at stake, they want more.
We know what Juneau was before it became just an exploited extension of the cruise ships. We know what we had and what we lost, and we want it back.
Ellison Barber, NBC News.
Such a fascinating report, Ellison. Thank you. Before we go, it is time for the future of everything. And stop me if you've heard this before. Another red flag for Boeing Starliner. What we now know caused that one of those astronauts to make this frantic call and the potential larger scale concerns for Starliner. That's coming up in the future of space. Plus, going for gold with Paralympics underway in Paris. We are seeing extraordinary people do extraordinary things, and some of the highlights so far in how the sports we know have become so much more adaptive. Yeah, now here's a story that definitely had a lot of people holding up their speakers to their ears, trying to figure out what the heck was making this weird sound up in space of all places. We're talking about that strange noise that was heard on board the, for now, infamous Starliner that's docked to the International Space Station. And NASA is now saying they think the sound came from some crossed audio wires. NBC's Marissa Parra has an even closer listen for all of us. Hey there, Melissa.
Hey there. Yeah, anything related to Boeing Starliner gets a lot of attention, and this was no exception. It was also kind of a mystery that troubled both NASA and the astronauts on board the International Space Station. I want to take you first to what we heard between NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore and NASA in Houston. Take a listen.
Houston on 2, got a question about Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker. And I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner and let me keep mic and let you hear. I don't know what's making it.
And now I want to have you take a listen to the sound that was stumping all of them. This is what we heard.
Hear that?
At negative, Butch. We did not hear anything.
And interestingly, former International Space Station Commander Chris Hadfield posted on X saying, there are several noises I'd prefer not to hear inside of my spaceship, including this one that Starliner is currently making. Well, we have since heard from NASA. NASA saying, 1, the noise has stopped, and 2, they have an explanation. They posted this statement, and in part, they explained that this was the result of an audio configuration between the space station and Starliner, and they emphasized that there is no impact on the Starliner astronauts, on the International Space Station, or on Starliner's ability to return back to Earth. And of course, we know that that is scheduled for this Friday. It's supposed to undock with no crew on board, because remember, Butch and Sunny, those 2 astronauts who went up through Boeing Starliner are not going to be returning back to Earth in the same capsule. Starliner will return to Earth without them. Those two astronauts, will hitch a ride using SpaceX. That Crew 9 is going to set for the International Space Station sometime at the end of this month. And then it's set to return to Earth in February. And so Butch and Sunny are not slated to come back to Earth any earlier than that. Starliner will make its return sometime after midnight on Friday, and that capsule will return and land in White Sands, New Mexico.
White Sands, New Mexico. Marissa Parra, thank you so much. And how did we learn about all this? Well, because that space station is circling above us, and there are a whole lot of space buffs down below that can tune in and listen to the chatter up there. And that's actually how the public first found out about this. Rob Dale, he's a meteorologist and space fan, and was just listening to what was happening up above when he heard all this, and joins us now. Rob, thanks so much for joining us. I got to ask, so were you listening on the internet, or like, is this old school antenna tuning above while they're circling? And tell us, how were you listening?
Yeah, there is still some of that. Excuse me, there is some of that old school listening, but most of it is on the internet. NASA has a feed on their YouTube channel of all the ground communication. So it's something I just kind of have on in the background when things are quiet down here in my home office. And normally on the weekends, it's no more exciting than we're doing house cleaning. Can you turn off a smoke detector for a little bit? So this one caught my ear a little bit more than normal.
Yeah, so let's listen to that real fast. So I'm just picturing you down, having this on in background noise, and then all of a sudden you start to hear this conversation. Let's play a little bit more of it here.
It was kind of like a pulsing noise, almost like a sonar ping.
Yeah, I'll do it one more time, and I'll let y'all scratch your heads and see if you can figure out what's going on. Here we go.
I don't know if you're a science fiction buff, but like when you heard that, what was going through your head?
Well, fortunately, he said it was only from the speaker. So right away, we if it was actually the spaceship making that noise, I'd have been a little more concerned, and they would have probably been as well. But I actually went. I'm a Tom Clancy fan, so I went to the Hunt for Red October with a little sonar ping back in the day. But nonetheless, there's always interesting things on there for whatever reason. I could think of a lot of reasons, but when I uploaded this, it turned viral in a hurry. So people caught on to the memes galore. My Twitter, my X feed has been just blown up with people tagging it and just finding up a variety of memes to poke fun at it. Again, thankfully it wasn't a life threat. That would have changed everything. But it got people to talk about space for a weekend. So no harm there.
Silver lining, it shows that so many people still care about what's going on up above. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And finally, Paralympians know a thing or two about defying the odds and inspiring millions along the way. And we've got a closer look tonight at some of the athletes who are going for gold right now in Paris, and others who are hoping for a chance a little down the road. Here's NBC News correspondent Emily Akeda.
Across 22 different sports, Paralympians in Paris are redefining the impossible perfectly.
Yes! Spider. What about that from Stutzman?
The man behind that bullseye, Matt Stutzman, using only his foot and a harness to shoot arrows. He's now the first armless archer to ever win gold.
It's a gold medal!
I left the bow and gave it a bow and said, I'm done. And then as soon as I got back, I cried like crazy.
Meanwhile, beneath the Eiffel Tower, a sport of speed and exceptional spatial awareness is captivating thousands. In blind soccer, players rely on a jingling ball and directions from their sighted goalkeepers and guides to move and pass on the field.
Good steal there from
Argentina's Matias Oliveira says fans are most surprised by
the velocity of the game.
I'm whispering right now because during play, the crowd has to be quiet to avoid interfering with players' concentration.
The U.S. doesn't have a team in these games, but is building one for LA 2028 with the help of American player Charles Catherine Caldaro.
Having a disability doesn't mean you shouldn't do any sport. It's actually quite the contrary. It gave me just so many opportunities, and I want children to have those moving forward.
In Paris, he's scouting the competition using a vision pad to track the ball in real time and reveling in the stadium's electric energy.
It's the first time in my life that I actually feel cool being blind, right? And that's a feeling I want to bring home with me.
A boisterous reminder of the power of sport. Emily Ikeda, NBC News, Paris.
Incredible. Emily, thank you. And that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.